All right, thank you, everyone. So now I want to do a quick poll. Okay, who agrees with the statement "follow your passion"? So raise your hand if you agree with that statement. Agree with that statement? I see some hands. Okay, what about the statement "don't follow your passion"? Who agrees with that? Okay, so a few hands, not bad. Okay, so as you all know, I think as you can all see already, I'm going to be talking about why you shouldn't follow your passion. Hi. And I'm sure it's been an advice that many students has been said to you over and over again by many people throughout your life. But the problem with that statement, follow your passion, assumes that students and young people somehow have to give in to your emotions and somehow the skills will follow later. Right? And if you look at most of the most successful people in the world, that's actually not the case, right? It's a case that they actually became very good at what they are doing, and then they declared that that was their passion. Okay, and I'm gonna start out with my story as well. Okay, so when I was young, if you can believe it, I was actually a emo kid. Okay, so who knows what an emo kid is? Right? Who knows what an emo kid is? I was an emo kid that loved emo core, heavy metal, death metal. Right? And I just didn't love the music. I actually dressed like one too. Right? I wore the skinniest jeans, all right? Always a black shirt with the studded belts. I even had my bangs straightened. And I also played the guitar. In fact, I was so good at guitar that I was taught by one of the teachers of the best guitarist in Myanmar, Chisama from my cross. So his teacher actually taught me when I was young. And like many of you, following your passion or whatever, you felt happy. I wanted to be a guitarist when I grew up, right? So it's like next slide, please. Let us show how good I am, all right? So this is me, okay? Back in 2010 at my high school's talent show, all right? So this is a very good guitar, Ibanez SCM1, and I was playing it, as you can see, like that. And this is actually a very hard song. The song is called The Best of Times by a progressive metal band called Tree Dela. Alright? So I would practice for 8 hours a week. 8 hours, not 8 hours a week. 8 hours a day, right? Because I was so committed to being the best guitarist in Myanmar, like my personal hero, Chisamal, of Pine Cross. Alright? And at the same time, I also discovered another interest, which was public affairs and political science. You can now go over the slide. So I also discovered another interest, political science and public affairs. In fact, I was so interested in that I spent the next 5 years studying that. First at Brown University, where I did my bachelor's, and then at Oxford, where I did my master's of public policy. So if you met me when I was an 18-year-old kid and asked what I wanted to be, I would have either said a guitarist in a heavy metal band or a statesman, all right? But as you now all see me, am I any of those? Am I any of those? Right? I mean, I still play the guitar. I still read about global affairs and public affairs and such, right? But I am not any of those, right? I am actually I am in a position, in a profession that I never thought I would be in, right? So now let's talk about that, right? Let's talk about how I became who I am right now, right? So when I was young, there were some things that I was good at, okay? I was always good at talking, right? I was always good at talking, and that's how I became teacher's pet, okay? Also, that's how I got a lot of girls too. Unreal. Oh, including my wife, who's right there. I was always good at talking. I was also good at writing. Yeah, I was good at organizing. In fact, one thing that I'm so proud of is that at my high school, there's a spirit week, right? 1 week where each class competed against each other to see which class had the highest school spirit, okay? And to this day, one of my biggest, proudest achievement is that my class, the class of 2011 from YS, won the Spirit Week 3 years in a row, okay? 2009, 2010, 2011, okay? And that's because I use all methods, including bribing younger classmates and making sure that my class had the best performance. All right. So I was definitely good at organizing. I was also very meticulous, okay, in how I did things. As my wife can tell, I'm quite OCD about how organized things must be. I live a very rigid and schedulized life, but that is an asset, all right? So these things that I was good at since I was young, I never thought that was my passion. All right? It was just some things that I did that somehow I was good at, all right? And the thing was, I never thought to use those skills as something that I should use in a profession, all right? But of course, as time went by, I didn't become a guitarist. I didn't go into any politics or anything like that. But over time, I discovered that I would one day want to start using the skills that I have to do a business. And that business was started in 2022 when I first started Success. And over the next 4 years, I have built numerous education businesses, including co-founding Ascend International School with my business partner, Intl. And throughout these 4 years, right, what I have found was that the skills that I am using to build my business are the skills that I was already good at, even when I was since I was a young age. Right? So the point that I'm trying to make, can you go to the next slide, is that I didn't follow my passion. Right? I didn't follow my passion. Next slide, please. I followed my competence, right? I followed what I was good at, and then I made a passion out of it, okay? So let me now give you another example of another person that's much more famous than I am, of course, right? And this is a story of a lady named Vera Wang. Now, how many of you know this lady called Vera Wang? Anybody know? I see one actually. I'm quite surprised. I see several hands. All right, Vera Wang. All right. So Vera Wang is one of the world's most iconic and famous fashion designers. All right. And Vera Wang, when she was young, she didn't want to be a fashion designer. She wanted to be an ice figure skater. So she was so committed to that she started practicing ice figure skating since she was 8 years old. Okay? And she was trained by one of the best coaches in America. And then in high school, she won the US National Ice Figure Skating Championship. And so she must be pretty good, right? She must be pretty good. But guess what? She was not good enough to make it for the Olympics team. And she was devastated that she didn't make it for the Olympics team. Right? And in an interview, if you go online and read about it, she thought that was the end, right? That she had no more future. She didn't know what to do. Right? But then there were some things that she was good at, regardless of whether she was figure skating or another job. Right? But she was good at seeing how people move. She was good at how form shapes how people's mobility. Right? She was also very attentive to detail. She also had a keen eye for how aesthetics. And she used those skills to then apply for a job at Vogue. Right? Vogue, the fashion magazine. So 17 years at Vogue, she later becomes the youngest editor-in-chief of Vogue magazine. And then she goes on to Ralph Lauren, where she has another very good job. And now she is designing dresses for people like Michelle Obama, the former First Lady of the United States, and famous singers like Mariah Carey. All right? So, again, Vera Wang, right? She didn't follow her passion. She let her competence, the skills that she was good at, become her calling. Okay? So, the point that I'm trying to make is many of you, when you are still young, and if you are still young, right, are still trying to find out what your passion is or what your interests are or what you're good at. And the truth is, you may not even know what you're good at until now. Right? You may know what you're good at, but you may not have found your calling yet. And the truth is, you might need some time, as I did, to actually find out what it is that will lead you to your fulfilling life. Okay? So, back to me. To this day, I still play the guitar. All right? And whenever I play the guitar, it brings me memories of my childhood, of my emo days. Right? Of my emo days, and it makes me happy thinking about my high school fight, right? But of course, more than the memories, what I actually have right now is a vision. Right? A vision to help, to use my skills to help students achieve their best potential. Right? So, in sum, right, I didn't follow my passion. I am now using my competence to not only lead a profession, but to also help students fulfill their best potential. So guys, don't follow your passion, follow your competence. Thank you very much.